Listeners, this is a struggle. A real struggle. The struggle is real.
I was just saying.
According to the mindset, the rationale by your Justice Alito, this is where we should stay because it wasn't there. Read the law in 1876 and that nothing in the 14th Amendment grants you or made it legal. Sorry, people, go to your legislators. So here's what you're going to have. If we do go by what Alito says, you're going to have inconsistencies all over the place.
Yeah.
States are going to put in statutes that sometimes doesn't even make sense. Okay, most of the times don't make sense. But you're still going to have to go up to the Supreme Court because somebody's still going to have the right to appeal it. And the Supreme Court is still going to have to analyze it. And that's why my best law professor said, law is like a pendulum. It swings this way, and it might take another 50 years to swing back this way, and it might take another 50 years to swing back this way because it depends on who's on the bench. What I think we need is term limits on the Supreme Court. I think we need term limits. And the reason we need term limits is because the buffoonery.
It's going to be worse. It's going to be worse.
Why do you think it would be worse?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's going to be worse because then
Let me ask you a question. Hold on, before you get to worse. Why do you think it was okay to drink to that?
Because I'm trying not to get pregnant.
I thought the alcohol was going to make you even looser.
Get loose, get loose, get loose, get loose.
The alcohol don't make it worse.
I don't know.
Champagne.
Probably you get pregnant on. Yeah, I don't want no alcohol, baby, because then I want an abortion.
That's correct. So please stop drinking.
Down. No, I just think it'll be worse. It's everything.
Why would it be worse? Because we're changing.
Everything's already so political. I mean, all of our courts are already like
political.
Yeah.
It's sad though. Isn't it a sad day that
but here's the
judges are no longer judges,
so
they're politicians.
So the Supreme Court is all the way up here. But it's the everyday court. The everyday court that affects us every day, and it's so political. And like my life was based upon, oh, your case is important. It's in the news. I'm running for election. I'm going to make sure that I knock you down. And if that's how my life is going to be dealt with off of somebody's motivation to get a job.
So here's what we need. We need legislation that says no prosecutor, no justice, no judge can profit financially off of any case that they have prosecuted or heard from. That way you could get rid of what happened to O.J. Simpson, where Marsha Clark became famous. They're writing books. They're becoming, speakers and doing public speaking and making money off of a case they prosecuted. That's motivation for you to want to prosecute somebody you think is innocent, because if you can make money off of it and you're selfish and you're greedy, you're going to do that. You're not going to say, oh, I'm not going to prosecute this guy. Because remember, when you're running for election, even as district attorney or solicitor, you always want the citizens.
Something crazy, but you just have to think it out before you say it, because you don't want to get
Yeah, please think it out before you say it.
That's what I just did. I just looked down like, I probably shouldn't say this. I should have probably said there's alternatives to terms. I should say these things. Shout out to all the babies I'm not gonna die. That's why we're wearing white.
Welcome to another episode of Diva Court.
I just be talking shit.
Yes. And I'm your host, Marsha Mignot, who speaks facts. With me is my co-diva who's just talking shit.
I don't know what I'm gonna say today. It's all gonna be all over the place. I'm just gonna tell you ahead of time.
And that would be Dana Tire Slashing Smith.
Whoop, there it is.
We are not responsible for what she's going to talk about today. Lord,
abortion free in 2023.
We don't own the rights to any of this shamockery.
How many people done turned the channel already?
No, they still listening. They're trying to figure out where they're going with this. All right, she's wearing white. Stay tuned, listeners. Don't turn the channel. We don't believe what she's going to talk about, so don't hold us liable or responsible or accountable. And she don't know what she's going to talk about. Praise Jesus.
I don't know whose side I'm going to be on.
Because our show is for edutainment purposes only. Make sure you find our videos every Wednesday. Look for us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Be sure. I don't know why that song can't end. She should be on the radio so I could turn her off.
Please don't turn us off. Just keep watching. Or watching or
Don't
listening.
forget to look for our videos each week on YouTube so you can see all this white.
Okay. We transracial now?
Hey, we can identify with white if we want to.
There we go. We are transracial right now. You see this blonde hair?
That's correct.
And that red lipstick over there?
Hello. This episode is sponsored by Cutie Nails and Spa. Cutie Nails and Spa in Midtown is offering manicures, pedicures,
Get you one, girl.
facials,
Men can get those too.
and lashes. Men can get them too.
It's a new day.
It is. Enjoy an experience at Cutie Nails and Spa and let a cutie take care of you.
All right now. I wonder when you walk in the door, does it do that?
Yeah, it does. Because I'm wearing white.
I was talking about the Cutie Nails and Spa, but okay.
I'll wear white to Cutie Nails and Spa
So
too.
like,
And every time I walk in Cutie Nails and Spa, it's like, all right, topic number 1, listeners. Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization. A ruling by the Supreme Court on June 24th of 2020 that overrules Roe v. Wade. Whoo, it's going to be hot in here. It's getting hot in here.
So hot.
Keep on all your clothes.
I am getting so hot. I'm going to take my clothes
Look, I think we need to drink to that before we start.
Yeah.
You know the topic is going to be heavy when you have to take a sip before you get to it.
Let's do it.
All right, so Justice Alito wrote an opinion that said abortions should be left up to your state. According to Justice Alito, the Constitution of the United States does not address the issue of abortion.
Right.
And the case of Roe v. Wade was far-reaching when the case of Roe v. Wade found that the 14th Amendment gave women the right, under the premise of life and liberty, to having an abortion. According to Justice Alito, because during the 1800s, abortions were illegal, and at the time the 14th Amendment was implemented, abortions were still illegal. Therefore, no one of the justices in their ruling in the Roe v. Wade case had the legal authority to have decided that life and liberty belongs to a woman to decide for herself.
Yeah. Because women, they was in the house anyways. They couldn't even get a job, so let alone an abortion.
Wait. So women weren't free with the
They weren't even free. So at no point could they think they was going to get an abortion. Come on.
I want to be honest. I didn't realize that until I was like, wait. Women definitely weren't a thing. Why are we going back to analyze the law based on the fact that women didn't count?
Right. Women didn't count for anything.
women had no say.
They couldn't vote.
So was Justice Alito saying, y'all shut up, women. Y'all were chattel. Just like, okay,
Y'all ain't
we
had
weren't
no
that
rights
bad.
back then. Stop acting brand new.
They were humans, but they didn't have rights. And he said the 14th Amendment didn't give y'all any anyway.
I just thought about something.
Please let it out.
Oh, I'm about to say it. Black women can get abortions because in that moment, the only women they was addressing was white women because we were not even considered human.
I think you're on to something.
So black women, you can still get your abortions. This is no laughing matter, but
It is not, but you have to laugh to keep from crying. Trust me. We want to cry, but it would look bad for us to start our show with tears and cry for an hour. That doesn't make sense.
I'm pretty sure back in the 1800s, they were putting down black babies. So we can still put down black babies.
Well, that was 19 something, but yes. Oh, even back then, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they put
sure.
so black babies can still be put down.
Yeah. So if we go by the rationale by Justice Alito, Justice, if you're listening, please tune into Diva Court. We might help you with your rulings. Since black women weren't considered
Even
human at the time,
Right.
and abortions for us were legal
Right.
because we were chattel.
We were
You
animals.
We were animals. And you
Yeah.
could do whatever you want to do with chattel. That means your
women-
rationale means black women can still have an abortion.
Oh,
I
it's
think
tough.
so.
It's tough. Remember, 13 comes before 14.
Oh,
It's tough.
darn it.
Damn.
All right, so we can't use the 14th. Sorry, black women. We
They
tried.
got us. They got us.
We tried. The 13th Amendment said that.
That 13th did because
You all
1, 2,
were
3,
no
4,
longer
5, 6,
slaves.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
And if we're counting the way we should
13.
and not using Trump's rationale of counting or Kofifi, 13 does come before 14.
I'm
And the
glad you
13th
clarified that.
Amendment, slaves, you were no longer a slave.
So you could have.
So you were considered
But
in the
wait,
14th
hold on.
Amendment.
Hold on. In Texas, right? In Texas, we didn't get Jew.
See,
Huh?
it's not when you find out. It's when it's enacted.
Ah,
Yeah, I see
Good
what
try,
you're doing.
good try.
We're coming close. We got,
Hey.
we got a little string.
We're massaging this
string
thing.
that we could try and get in there.
We're massaging this thing. This is called law analysis. We told you we were going to be edutained. That's
court.
why
In
we
session.
all rise. Okay, don't rise. We talk about babies.
Okay.
And you might get pregnant if you rise. All right, so let's get back to the topic.
But if
1876.
you rise, you have to fall in order, the rise and the fall.
Well, your
in
belly
order
gonna
to
rise
get-
if you're pregnant.
Somebody got to rise in
And then
order
somebody-
for some
I know.
pregnancy to happen.
Somebody has to rise and then somebody has to fall in order for there to be
nobody
No,
has
no,
to
nobody
fall.
has to fall
Nobody
because
has
that
to
belly
fall.
gonna rise too.
Only one thing need to rise and wake up in order to make this
But
happen.
so she got to get on top and then.
No.
no,
Ain't
no,
no. First
no,
of
ma'am.
all,
No,
how
ma'am.
dare you as a Christian say that a woman is not on the bottom?
The love. Is that in the Bible? Because according to the
I am
Constitution,
sure
it's
if
in the
I read it hard and straight,
We'll find
straight. You
something.
gotta- Is that in the Constitution?
No, it's
Shouldn't
not.
we read? Somebody told me that we should read the Bible like we read the Constitution, or we should read the Constitution like we read the Bible. You know what I'm talking
I'm
about?
gonna stick with separation of church and
But
state.
no, it was a good. It was
Read
a good
your
opinion.
Constitution
Wait, was that
separate from your
that was a-
Bible.
I
It
believe
was a very good
her
analysis.
Her analysis is, if I recall the conversation, it is that it's funny how people interpret the Bible to make it modern.
Right.
And the people
But they won't
It's a
interpret the
living-
Constitution.
Right.
So
It's
the
a
Bible is a living, breathing
breathing
document,
document.
but the
Yes.
Constitution is not.
And
Yes.
the Constitution
Because
should
the
be a living.
Bible
breathing.
says you better pay this church a whole bunch of money so you can get a private plane.
That's not-
Hey,
The Bible doesn't.
Wheels
for the
up.
record,
By words.
that,
wheels
that
up.
does not say that in the Bible.
First lady needs a Bentley.
Romans chapter
Hey,
2.
do I look like a first lady with these pearls?
Roaming chapter 2. That's what that. Roaming.
Stealing, chapter 6. But yes, as a woman of faith, we believe that the Bible is like a hyper linked
Did
document.
you say Flaith?
I don't know. It's possible.
Woman of faith?
She's using a lot of French around here.
Weave. Might need one. But
Weave.
we believe that it's a living document. It's a living
Okay, so the
word.
Bible.
It's a living word.
The premise is that Christians believe that the Bible is a living, breathing document.
Right.
And that's why it can apply to your social media and to your pornographic videos and to your impromiscuity or your promiscuity
Yeah.
and to your short dress as they got shorters
Yeah, they're getting
and
short.
to
Cheeks
your
is
mini
hanging.
skirt, whether they existed then or not, because we
Yeah.
were wearing long skirts
Yeah.
because it's living and breathing.
And Cisco.
So
And that
yeah,
thong, the thong, thong, thong.
yeah. So the thong.
Hence, the Constitution, that's where they got that from, that the Constitution should be a living, breathing document.
Not according to Justice Alito. Justice Alito and Justice Thomas are of the belief that we read it to the letter of the law. And if the letter of the law does not address the issue that the court is about to be asked to rule on, they cannot rule on it. And that you should go back to your state and elect legislators to legislate a statute for every single solitary thing, including morality.
I think that's
You cannot regulate morality.
Well,
Whoever thinks they can regulate morality is fooling themselves. Because first of all,
and morality
define
always
morality.
changes. But see, that's why you should be able to regulate morality, because when the Supreme Court, they if they're going by, it should just go by what happened in 18, blah, 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 blah. The morality was completely different back then. So if we're going by the letter of the law in the Constitution, then nothing will have any changing. So because the United States is always changing, the morals is changing, the people are changing, the thought process is changing, so should the legislation change as those things change. Because if it doesn't change in our legislator, then it's not going to change in the Supreme
Here's the
Court
problem
if we're
you
going by
have
what
with
he's
that.
saying.
Here's the problem you have with that. If we're going to legislate morality, who's going to decide what the definition of morality is? Would that be the Muslim religion? Would that be the Christians? Will that be the Jews? Will that be the blacks? Would that be the whites? Would that be Asians?
No, it would be the people.
Well, think about this. I've had cases where a person had animals in their backyard, ducks and things that they eat in their Asian country. Mm-hmm. And they were charged in court for cruelty to animals. Now, if we were regulating the morality on that, according to this Asian person, it's not cruel to leave that duck walking around in the backyard in the hot sun because I was going to eat it.
You going to cook one way
I was going to cook that duck.
Right.
And I was going to cook that pig. So somebody might say, morality, it's immoral to have a duck and a pig out in the hot sun in your backyard or a dog, because some cultures eat dogs. Mm-hmm. Okay? And for them, it's food. And if we're going to have them determine the definition of morality, then it would not be immoral to have my dog, my duck, and my pig in my backyard. So my point is, because culturally, we are different.
You think of cutlery when you cut
Cutlery when you cut up your chicken differently and your duck. Yeah, that's my point is, who's going to define it? Now we're going to fight over whose definition of morality we're going to use before we even get to legislating morality.
Church and state has been separated. So I think we might have had this conversation before. Now that God is not stating what the morals is, no one is using God as the moral compass.
Oh yeah, they are. They're still doing it.
Well, but not everybody is.
Well, all the churches are.
But I'm talking about the layman, everybody, the other men or women who don't.
Laymen? I thought there was laying women.
The lay person. Since he's not the center of what morality is, then I don't want someone who don't believe in the same thing I believe in to dictate what I do. So we are going to have to argue about it, and the majority rules. So if at this time
not according to the Republicans. When the majority cannot rule, the minority will rule the majority by redistricting a map.
Well, they just better at their job.
Well, did redistricting, lying and cheating and stealing?
What I'm saying is that they all lie, cheat, and steal, but some are just a little bit faster than others. So you got to get with the program. Like
So-
I'm not team anybody. All y'all some liars. All y'all some cheaters. All y'all say y'all gonna do what y'all say y'all gonna do, and you don't do it. The only person who did was Trump. And he told y'all, I'm gonna get rid of Roe. And that's exactly what he did. So maybe if they start telling the truth about what they can and cannot do, then we can have some trust in them. But if the Republicans change their district to make it benefit them, I can't be mad. I got to be mad at my people for not changing the district to make it better for them.
But they can't if you don't vote for them.
Correct.
What
So
I'm
you're in a
saying is when you are in charge, then you start making laws to make it work for you. But when you're not in charge, you got to go with the flow.
But you can't be in charge. See, you're
all the
asking
time
them to change something that
Right.
they can't be in charge of unless they get
In
the
office.
win,
But
and then they're being districted out so that
So,
they
of
can
the win.
never
Not always.
be
Win.
in charge.
But
So they can never help you.
I know, but what I'm saying is that it has happened the opposite way too. It goes both ways. It
What
ain't
I'm
just
saying
one.
is-
It ain't
no,
all Republicans only doing the redistricting.
I'm not going to let the whataboutism win this specific argument. You redistricting to get gains is not that's the political game. That's fine. There's leeway in having those things and being smart and trying to play around with lines and doing that. I get that. But to do it in an order to disrupt democracy and what the people and the will of the people
Correct.
truly is.
That's the
just
problem.
by voting on the teams, because now we're voting based on teams,
Right.
not really on the issues. We're
Correct.
like, I like the Republicans because they're just making stuff up. They don't know
Right.
what half of it actually means and how it affects their daily lives comparatively to what they're doing. They're just saying the Democrats are crazy because they have some wild thing, and the Democrat side is saying Republicans are crazy because they have some wild things that are pushed on those sides, instead of understanding
what the issues
actually
Right.
are.
and voting based on
But,
issues.
but guess what? When I'm against abortions and I see the people that I put in office get rid of abortions, it make me team the people I want in office because they're winning. It's like Michael
No,
Jordan.
but
When we
what-
win it, we
but-
win it.
but-
F all you, what y'all doing? I don't care about that. I
That's
don't care
great,
about that.
but
We
you're
winning.
dodging the thing you just told me, which is redistrict when it's your turn.
I
Right.
understand
And I'm
that,
saying
but they
Because
have,
I'll never be able to
get the
redistrict
turn,
because it'll never be
'cause
my
they
turn.
turned it into an unfair battle on that side. And then once I get it, you'll say, oh my gosh, look at how crazy they're being with it. And I'm being mild compared to what you've
right,
done.
but that's the point. When you a liar, you a cheater, and you a stealer, and you just being mild doing it, you weak. Either go or don't go at all.
But when your intention
When
is
you
not
go
to
in,
be that.
go in. But that is your intention.
But it's not your intention if you're going to do that.
all politicians.
That's a blanket statement. That I'm
It's
not,
true.
All black people steal.
That's true. It is true. I'm pretty sure that all of us have taken a pen,
No white,
borrowed something they ain't
no
gave
white
back
person
yet.
has ever stolen before.
No, we know that's a lie.
So all white people steal
All
too?
white people steal too.
So all people
Everybody
steal.
steals.
Everybody steals.
All
Oh
right,
my
then.
God.
All politicians are liars. Ching ching, drink to that. I won that one. That's probably the only one I'm winning today. Can I get that, please? Can I?
All politicians are what?
All politicians are liars.
This lawyer won't use the word all.
But you said that in the when we were just.
Can we say most? I'll drink the most.
Can you name one who didn't lie?
President Obama.
He ain't lie.
No.
Never lied.
Not to,
He ain't lie about
not
the
as a
time he was gonna
politician.
make-
He might have lied to Michelle, but I don't know nothing about that.
He better not have lied to Michelle, because then I would lose respect. He can lie about everything else, but you don't lie to Michelle.
If he lied to Michelle,
Hey, whoa! I mean,
I would
whoa!
definitely lose respect. If he lies to Michelle, I
hey,
lose respect.
I don't know about him lying to Michelle, but I know he didn't lie to me as a voter. Hey,
I guess.
Yeah,
I mean,
he
he
told me
ain't
the
give you
truth.
nothing, so like he ain't say he was gonna give you
Gave
anything.
me a black president that I can look
and
up
I
to.
will
That
take
matters.
that.
I'm
Hey,
with
hey.
it. I'm with it.
And he was no drama Obama. I loved it.
I know, but I wish he would have got something done like Trump. 'Cause
Well,
Trump
well,
got
well,
that-
hold
Sorry,
up.
Did
hold
your
up.
universal health care not?
Hold up. He
I
put
don't even
he
use
put he put healthcare in place.
That is true. He did.
And but for the
But that
sabotaging.
that affected everybody. I want something that just affect me.
Oh wow. So you want him to
This
come
leads
to your
the
house?
next conversation.
I want to just be affected by myself. I want it to only benefit me.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Me and maybe half of America.
Wow.
And I think that's what we can get into what Mr. Thomas said. I think that's a good segue.
Yeah, because Justice Thomas said, let me do the black woman lips before I
No,
speak.
he married to a white woman, so he don't know what that
Oh, I'm
sound
sorry.
like.
I'm sorry. You're right.
He don't know what black woman lives.
He probably don't know he's black either. He's probably, you ever seen the Dave Chappelle skit when Dave
I
Chappelle was,
think he know. He just don't like anybody. I think he just don't like people in general. He thinks we're the scourge. He's the AI we all need to
Crazy.
be afraid of. Where he's
Crazy.
like, "What's the problem with the world? Humans."
so I'm gonna say for the listeners, I'm gonna read so I don't
Sound
miss
like Iron Man 3, right?
I don't want to miss one word of what he said in his final statement. Justice Thomas, in his concurrence of the ruling, was substantive due process conflicts with the textual command and has harmed our country in many ways. Accordingly, we should eliminate it from our from our jurisprudence at the earliest opportunity. So Justice Thomas says, let's get rid of substantive due process. What is substantive due process? First, let me define that. It is your right to be free from government interference. So let's talk about what government interference looks like. I'm Defects, and I said, you know what? I'm just going to go into Diva Court 2's, the co-diva's neighborhood, and I'm going to knock on her door, and I'm going to see how those kids are doing. Boom, 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 boom. Can I help you? I'm defects. We need to come and do an inspection. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Constitution says, do you have a warrant? Do you have an order? Do you have something? No, I don't have anything. You don't have any substantive due process for me as the government not to interfere with how well you're raising these children.
Well, defects ain't coming to my house. So I ain't worried about that.
Well, let's talk about, you riding down the street.
Okay.
The police officer sees you. That car looks nice. Why is that blonde boy driving that fast? Notice I said blonde.
And
okay.
you call me a boy.
Whoop, whoop. Lights get hit. He pulls you over and he starts searching the car.
Why are you in my car, sir?
Because you don't have any substantive due process rights from government interference.
Why'd you pull me over?
Because I felt like it. I just saw you and you look like somebody that might be involved in a crime.
Well, I don't have that problem because I don't drive.
Well, you're walking. So come over here. Let me search those pockets to make sure you don't have any weed on you or a cigarette lighter, because I don't think cigarette lighters should be in your pockets. Government intervention.
That sounds like that New York law.
Stop and frisk.
Stop and frisk. Wasn't that under that Democratic mayor, Bloomberg?
Yeah, it was. I think Bloomberg
was a Democratic
was the
mayor
mayor.
on that.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I think
so-
he was the mayor then. Yeah.
Those Democrats.
But you got to understand
yeah, that's
that
terrible.
substantive due
everybody.
process
Affects
can
everybody.
affect everybody.
Yeah.
He went a little further because he said he wanted the opportunity to overturn substantive due process in this ruling in Dobbs. But because it's not before the court, he is hopeful that the court will start now going and looking at all the substantive due process cases to start overturning it, to get rid of it entirely. According to Justice Thomas, due process rights are in the Constitution, and we already know how to implement those as it pertains to your life, your liberty, and your property.
Didn't he also say that there are some substantive due process rights that are in the Constitution?
He says you already have some that
What are those?
He says life, liberty, and property, right?
Okay.
And the problem you have is,
search and seizure is in there too, though. Isn't that in the Constitution?
well, I think it's in an amendment.
But does that
I
count?
believe it's the fifth.
Fifth
It's the
and fourth.
fifth.
Yeah, Fourth
Fourth,
Amendment.
fourth,
It's a
fourth.
Fourth Amendment.
So
Fourth,
search and
yeah.
seizure.
Yeah, that's a Fourth Amendment.
Fourth
Okay.
and
Yeah.
14th are the ones that
Correct.
14th expanded it to all citizens to make sure it was
Okay.
clear that anyone who was born here
Or
gets these
naturalized.
rights. Yeah.
Or
Right.
naturalized.
Because, you have Fourth and we were slaves at Fourth. So when 13th kicked in and we became people instead of chattel.
Can't wait to
So
interpret
wait,
the fourth
if you
one.
have a green card, you don't get any substantive due process.
No,
rights?
you get due process rights.
So why does it? It
No,
says
that's
only
also
for-
something he probably wants to put under question.
Wow, that
Yeah. So if you're a permanent resident and your family members are citizens, it can affect you.
yeah.
So tell your family members who are citizens to make sure they vote. Now, I don't want everybody to panic because I want our listeners to understand that even though Roe v. Wade was overturned, it's not the end of abortions per se. It is a narrowing and a chiseling at abortions in a drastic way, because what it said is the Supreme Court does not find that you have a constitutional right to have one. It doesn't mean that your state is not going to pass legislation to permit you to continue.
Before
In
you
fact,
go in deeper, so I know some people's coconuts be thumping, but if they want to make sure that the right laws are getting passed in your state,
the coconuts are thumping.
yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Go ahead and thump your coconuts
You may know you can't thump your coconut
in public.
You can't thump your coconut in public. But some of y'all coconuts may be thumping. This is for the women. If you want your legislator to vote the right way, especially women who are married to these men, close your legs. You know what I'm saying? They want to take abortions from you? Close your legs, honey.
Wait.
Yeah.
Let me see if I understood what you
Yes.
just said.
Go ahead and lay that out.
If you want your legislator, is the legislator your husband?
If he, yes. But if
Oh,
all women gather together,
So
and
we
do
can
like
get
a
all the
boycott,
wives of all the
Yes.
senators to say,
And their sides.
and their side chicks to say,
the side chicks gonna need the
no
side
more
chicks-
sex.
You know, side chicks don't get on board because side chicks want the baby so they can get the child support.
Oh, really?
But
Is that how it works?
sometimes, yeah. But anyways, Go ahead.
Who knew side chick was a profession?
Never mind. So side chicks keep your legs open.
Yes. And
Yes.
wives keep them
close
closed.
your legs.
Yeah.
Ah.
So that the
Yes.
side chick can't get an abortion.
And she gets pregnant, which means
Yeah.
she tarnishes his reputation.
Yes. And comes and get the child support from him.
Child support and newsworthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the wife is like, how'd you get her pregnant? She's not
A wife.
a wife.
and
now,
he goes, "'Cause you wasn't opening your legs."
and then he loses his position.
He
Like,
said,
women-
"No, I didn't lose my position, wife. You losing yours. Because I'm going to divorce you and marry this side
No,
chick."
but you're not going to vote for him. Women are not going to vote for him because he can't be trusted.
Are the side chicks not going to vote for him?
I'm pretty
side
sure
chicks-
the army of side chicks.
Oh, the army of
No,
side
no.
chicks, girl.
Now,
Them side chick
chicks
voters?
wanna
Let me
be
tell you something about
wives.
the Constitution. It tell you women ain't ever going to unite on anything. I've seen that in the Constitution.
That's in there. That's listed in there.
He said that's the 20th Amendment.
Hell no, it was in the original document. They didn't need to amend
Just
anything.
Blow it off. It's right there. Close your legs, ladies. They don't want to give you your abortions. Close your legs. Make
So
them.
shut it down
Shut it
in the
down.
sex department. We're
it down.
closed. Everything must go.
Everything. Amazon's having a sale on vibrators. Hit the link in the description. Shut it down. Make your man want you so much more.
He'll go pass a law
He'll
that
pass
says
a law.
if you get pregnant, you could do what you want with your
There's
own
no
body.
such thing as rape.
And according to our one review, I did say there were levels to rape.
You did. And somebody got mad at my co-diva because she said that a wife, if she's married, cannot be raped. She should be giving her husband intimacy at all times. Sex should not be withheld from a
I
husband.
did say that. There's an exception to the rule, unless abortion is an issue.
So now that abortion is illegal,
You got to shut them legs.
hey, you say,
I
you
mean-
say
And not illegal.
it would be rape if a husband. Okay, so you clarified. Maybe the listener will come back.
Yeah, maybe she'll come back. It was probably a woman because a man is like, give abortions to everybody. Me having sex with my wife, no matter if she says no, is nothing. You know?
That's
she
not a
just got a
problem.
headache. It just turn around.
Yeah,
It'll be all
that's
good.
just
Turn around. It'll be all good. Get
just
close your
as
eyes.
Thomas is
Take this
off.
Tylenol. You'll be fine.
You don't have a headache.
You don't have a headache. You fine. Take this Tylenol. You ain't got no headache no more. I do also want to add that here's the other issue. Like if we shutting down abortions, like we got to start looking at the fabric of society. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
So let's now have to extend the funding for Medicaid. We need to
Even
increase
before-
Medicaid.
Even before there, our current society, back in my day when I was watching Saved by the Bell, you barely seen someone kiss on TV.
That's true.
But now I'm watching American football show. I don't know what it's called, but they like young. They done had sex with everybody in their whole group.
Yeah.
And this is in high school. So if kids who are in high school or probably
I mean, you
in
can't even
middle
watch The
school,
Bachelor or The
you can't
Bachelorette
watch it.
without them
Everybody
closing
having
a
sex.
door
So-
with two people kissing
Right.
and closing
So
a
now,
door.
Sex is out there. It's on the TV. It's on the phone. It's on the this. It's on the that. But you're not teaching about it in school.
Yeah, it's irresponsible not to want to teach sex education. To me, it's ignorant because I don't understand how somebody rationalizes. I don't want to teach sex education.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have an abortion. I don't want a person to have an abortion. I don't want to provide funding for Medicaid. I
Right.
don't want to give them free education. I don't want them to go to elementary school or college and I don't want to give the mother any assistance unless she can't find the father. What?
Yeah.
Okay, so if abortions are actually going to be illegal, here's what we got to do, people. We got to increase the funding for Medicaid, first of all, because she's going to need help. We've got to increase, because now she has an unwanted child, right? She's got responsibilities. She needs daycare. She needs to have free daycare. She needs to have free schooling, and she needs to have free education for college, because you need to take care of that child. You pro-life. Let's talk about life, because life is not after birth. Life is all the way. Since you say life is in the uterus or life is at inception, life is when the man takes his penis out. You know what I'm saying?
Life is
that's
at
crazy.
ejaculation.
Yeah, life is at once the sperm leaves his
No more
body.
masturbation for you fellas.
That would be killing a baby.
You're going to jail.
That's murder.
If I could have a suspicious miscarriage, you suspiciously ejaculated on the on the bed sheets. in the condom.
That's
going to
crazy.
jail.
Yeah, don't waste that sperm. It could have been a child.
Yeah, spill the seed.
But you know,
because these are Bible thumpers now. These are hardcore Bible thumpers, which I'm not. These are slapping you in the head Bible thumpers, and you're not supposed to spill no seed.
Well, they've got to slap me in the head with, first of all, some Medicaid, some education, some child care, some college fund, right? And some defects employees. So that if the mother starts abusing the child.
Can defects not be in the equation?
Well, you got to bring defects in the equation. Remember now, the Georgia statute, most of the statutes don't have a provision for rape or incest. And the rationale behind the people who don't want rape or incest included are the people who are saying a child is a child no matter how you got conception. A human is a human. That's a life. And we don't care how that life was created, whether it was created in incest or it was created in rape. Yeah. And I have a problem with that, because if a 12-year-old is raped by her father or by a family member, and you're saying that 12-year-old has to have that child, and you're not providing any mental health, psychological counseling once she's old enough to understand how she got that child, and that the person who, impregnated her is related to her by blood or by marriage, and that it shouldn't happen. Now, when she's going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, are we going to provide mental health services for her?
According to that one senator back in the day, he said that
the rape sperm knows the difference.
Yes, and that
he was a medical doctor. Yes, you know that, right?
And they'll get aborted.
Yeah, and it'll abort itself, because the rape sperm will abort. The body knows how to abort a rape sperm.
I mean, in essence, I understand that trauma may eventually, but that's not every case.
No. But you going?
You'll still end up in jail because it is a suspicious abortion.
That's true.
You gonna have to get a jury to
convict.
Convict.
Yeah, that's true. So I guess we'll be trying those abortion murder cases.
I mean, based on juries today, it's not gonna be good. They're gonna be like, "Oh, it's 10 years. I didn't even know."
Yeah, that's true. Most jurors not listening, which is sad. I've seen a few jurors get it right, though, which is Amber Heard's jury. I've seen the George Floyd jury. I've seen the Ahmaud Arbery jury. I've seen those jurors get it right.
Speaking of criminals, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, all right, think about the context is what I'm trying to say. If they give you the law and they say this, but you think it's crazy, the jury's still going to say, yeah, but the judge is going to give them this. But there's a mandatory minimum with that.
Right.
So they're always going to.
And the law doesn't allow jurors to get involved in the sentencing. Yeah. So they don't even know how much time you're facing, and they're not allowed, because the rationale behind that is that the jurors will be unlikely to convict you, because they're going to say, we don't think somebody should be facing mandatory minimum 10 years for some foolishness like that. And they don't want them to engage in that. And I think you should tell them. I think you should tell them what the maximum penalty is and what the minimum penalty is under the law, and let the jurors decide.
And let the jury recommend it.
Let them recommend the sentence.
A recommendation.
Instead of the judge. Not the judge.
Guess what?
Let them recommend the sentence.
See, but that's what we should be legislating right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Why is that not even an issue?
Because you haven't elected anybody.
Because you were too busy hearing about abortion and letting abortion.
You were busy telling women to keep their legs closed instead of telling your senator to open the door and sign a bill.
Keep your legs closed to married men and married women. Keep your legs close to the husband.
To the senator.
But okay, so in Texas, right, they have that civil law. I don't know how early they shut down abortions, but now could they transition that civil law into a criminal law?
They could pass a criminal statute.
Now, here's where it gets, this is what I wanted to get a little tricky. So now, all right, in their civil law, they say that if you leave the state to have an abortion, there could be penalties. Like,
it's a civil penalty.
Civil penalties.
Right.
But if they created a criminal law and said that if you leave the state to have an abortion, you couldn't even do that, right?
I don't let the lawyer talk, but immediately to my head, first of all, I'm saying, you're managing something in somebody else's jurisdiction.
Right. And I was about to go into, so I'm about to give you all types of.
So can we get at least one instead of all?
So they turn into a criminal law, right? And if you leave the jurisdiction, you're a resident, you leave the jurisdiction, you have an abortion, you come back, they can charge you with, murder. like how they do in Georgia.
That would have to go up, because remember, the person has to go to trial. If the person pleads guilty, that's nothing. If the person goes to trial and is convicted at trial, and you appeal and you go all the way up to the appellate court, and you're going to be arguing that venue was not proper because the state where the abortion took place is a state that has the right to prosecute that person. That in the state of Texas, you don't have jurisdiction because although abortions are illegal in your state, it did not occur in your state. And remember, for crimes, for you to have jurisdiction over a crime, the crime has to be committed in your jurisdiction. And the crime of the murder would have occurred in the other jurisdiction where she had the abortion.
What if you planned it in your state, conspiracy to commit murder, but it happened in a different state?
Then they would have to have a conspiracy statute that says conspiracy to commit murder when you conspired to go to another state to do it. If they don't have a statute about conspiracy to commit murder as it pertains to determination of a pregnancy in another jurisdiction, then no. So you couldn't be prosecuted for the murder under the abortion statute because the murder didn't occur there. You could be prosecuted for the conspiracy statute if they have evidence and can prove beyond a reasonable doubt at trial that you conspired in that state. Now, that's going to be tough because I didn't think I was going to do it. I went over there on vacation. I was having such a good time. And I said, you know what?
Man, we have your
I'm
phone
gonna
records of you
do it.
calling the abortion equipment.
I'm going to do it. Yeah, but you have to go get the tower to show that I called from your state.
Man, we have your computer IP address that's at your home location that states. I don't think, like, who is policing?
No. Listen to me.
Policing.
Where are you going to get the money? First of all, let's talk about funding. Let's talk
big
about
government,
funding.
baby. Big government.
Who is policing?
Let's talk about
Which
money.
has a new
Man,
nickname.
we're here
Sorry,
because we
sorry
think
to
that you
interrupt.
might have had a
Big government
miscarriage
has a
and
new
the evidence
nickname.
is in the toilet.
It's called little government.
No, it's called small government.
Small government.
Big
yes.
government has a new name. It's called small government. That's what it's called. Yeah, I don't understand how you could be for small government. Everything you do, you want government to regulate.
Excuse me, ma'am. Open the door. We see that you're flushing down the evidence.
Look, if Clarence Thomas gets rid of your substantive due process, they're not gonna knock. They're gonna kick the door in like they did on Breonna Taylor.
How many
They're coming in.
How many white women who will use hangers to get rid of their abortions have to die before
They don't have
All
to.
right, first
You know
of
why
all,
they're
they
not
won't.
using hangers? Because
That's
those
what they
days are
said.
gone. No.
That's what
It's
they
the
said.
extremity.
That's an extreme.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna put it
facetious.
out there,
No.
All
Let's
right,
be
How
real.
many
Go in
people
there.
are actually killing babies?
None. Because
how
it's
many
not
people are
actually a
using
baby.
these hangers?
If we're gonna argue about viability.
I'm not talking about no. I said how many women
Okay, so let's
are
stop
gonna
for a
have to
second.
die with these hangers before they change
Let's
the
stop
law.
for a second. Let's stop for a second.
Do you think two will be enough?
Women.
You know, one white woman disappeared and then the whole world shuts down. So how many white women who could
Okay.
take a hanger and pull the baby out, because that's what they saying they're gonna do,
First of all,
does it take before they change the law?
let me
What do you
educate
think?
you on
How
the
many?
hanger. Let me educate you
Can
on
I
the
get a
hanger.
number?
Before you get your number, let me
I get a-
educate you on the
Can I
hanger.
get a number? You're out of order.
Let me
Can I get a number?
Let me get you educated before I give you a number. Women were using hangers.
I understand that.
Fun and joke aside, they were
I understand
using
that.
hangers.
I don't-
And they were hemorrhaging. And they did die. So I just want to make
I'm
that
not being
point,
funny.
listeners.
I'm
No.
asking you.
I just want to make that point so no listener gets offended by the fact that, you know what I'm saying? We're edutaining and we are saying
Educating
things
too. Yeah.
that appear as if gives the impropriety or gives the appearance that we don't know that actually happened.
Yeah.
Like we think it's a joke and we think that somebody's saying it now as if it never happened in the
Yeah,
past.
we believe that it did happen.
Yes.
I believe,
Yes.
but we also believe that if it was black women who were doing it, no one cares. So that's why I said how many white women.
and
with
you
hangers.
and I'm not going to take that point away from you. You could be correct.
I probably
I just
am.
don't have any facts and evidence.
Because I don't think we do that. We just had these babies. Like, damn, what number is this?
Black women have their babies on a whole. You understand what I'm saying? So more than likely, black women have.
We
the
have
child.
fake abortions. We not gonna be able to get our fake abortions no more. Oh my gosh! Like, you know how many homegirls I used to know that be like, "Yeah, Derek, I'm pregnant, 2 weeks. I need $400 to get this abortion." He's like, "Damn."
I'm gonna give her $400.
Give her
And then she said,
$400.
"I got one." Now he can say that's not legal.
It's not legal in this state. I need traveling money.
Well, she said, "Now I need the airline ticket."
Don't you work at Starbucks? Starbucks said they'll take care of you.
Well, okay, so we got good news, listeners, about this abortion
Are
law.
you gonna answer how many women You gonna answer that question? Or you gonna just leave that?
No,
alone?
a white woman just has to think about it.
And then we just gonna change.
Yeah, so the
law.
number is 0. One white woman thinks about it using a hanger, and that's gonna change the law in her jurisdiction.
Nah, they pushing them to the limit now. They push them because there was a lot of signs up. I saw a lot of protesting signs.
Yeah, I
about
did
the
too.
hanger.
I did too.
Like-
In fact, I saw white women getting knocked to the ground as if they were black.
Look,
I did. I'm not.
listen.
I did.
I saw a sign that said.
You didn't see that?
No, I did not. I don't know if I trust what you're saying. Are you
No,
a
I was
politician?
shocked. No, ma'am, I'm not a politician, and I will not run. I saw a white woman get knocked to the ground by a cop, and I said, "Did he realize she was white?"
He must thought she was light.
Hey, he hit her like she was black.
he was like, he thought
She was no, and she was blonde. I said, "Woo!"
He thought.
What
I mean,
is
I'm
up with
blind.
that?
There ain't nobody mistaking me for the white
I
woman.
was shocked. I
Listen,
could not believe it.
I saw this sign. Oh, abortions will not end. Only safe underline abortions will.
Good Lord. A white woman was holding that?
Yes.
She's just saying it won't be safe because we're going to do anything we can to get rid of this pregnancy.
get rid of these fetuses.
She doesn't have to do it. She doesn't have to use a hanger because thank goodness the country of Canada, the president of Canada has announced that all American women are welcome, that the Canadians are going to make health care accessible to any woman from the United States who wants to have an abortion.
And
isn't that nice?
In Minnesota too. There's some safe haven states in the U.S. as well. Minnesota
Was it
is
Minnesota's
one.
governor that came out
Yep.
yesterday? That
It's
said,
another one that starts with an M, but it wasn't
no
Michigan.
way, no way,
Can you say
no
Michigan
how
for the
we're
people?
going to
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Yeah.
Massachusetts.
Can you say Michigan?
Massachusetts.
Can you say Michigan?
Can
though?
you say Massachusetts?
Nope.
All right. then.
Can you say Michigan?
Michigan. Those Mitches in Michigan.
Yeah.
Are you a Mitch from Michigan?
Oh, but in Michigan, they had a trigger law as well, but they put theirs on hold.
Well, the good news is there are lots of states that are saying we're going to do everything we humanly can possible to have the women in our states. So what's going to happen is your state's going to be empty. Ain't going to be no women in it because they're going to move. They're going to pack their bags and leave.
Oh,
let's
and
see how you
know-
like that.
Hey, you know who don't get pregnant? Men, right?
Right.
And since men don't get pregnant, it's gonna turn into a rainbow state. Moving on up. Moving on out.
So now the men can own that state.
Instead of just going with the standard, I'm coming out.
Hello?
You decided.
I
You
that was
moving on
fair.
up?
That was
I
fair.
was thinking
I'm coming out.
First
No,
one.
I'm
you
coming
know
out.
what? I don't want to pay for those licensing fees.
Yeah.
So you're
He said
good.
we don't own the rights to that. Remember, that's how we start the show. We don't own the rights, nor are we going to buy them.
But you do know that song, right? It was still in the same
Yeah,
era.
moving on up.
Yeah.
I'm moving up. I want the world to know. Got to let it show.
Moving.
There's no women
To
in here.
Texas.
They're all moving over there. And now we get to do what we want to do here.
You know what
Okay,
else?
hey.
You know what else?
Hey, we're pushing
Because
it.
abortion.
Hey,
It's about
borderline.
8
Hey,
seconds.
that's
It's
the
about 8
seconds.
No, I
We're
got
up.
a good one.
We're up.
I got a good one.
No, you're good.
Time's up.
No. As long as you're not singing
Oh,
any
I'm not gonna
copyrighted song.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a good one. Since abortions
Uh-huh.
are not going to be happening, there are going to be a lot of babies for that. Gay couples can
Adopt.
So
Wow.
they
Well, you
have to
forgot that they
deliver
won't
money.
let gay couples
Wow.
adopt them in some jurisdictions?
Well,
that they
that's why
give
you
them a
buy
hard
'em-
time?
You buy them from a different state, and you just.
That's,
Oh.
that's under the 14th Amendment. So, yeah, we're going to have to figure that one out.
Well,
'Cause
we better
that's-
get as many of them as we can before they figure it out, because then you'll be grandfathered in. I don't think they're gonna go out there taking kids.
Yeah, according to Clarence Thomas and Alito,
I don't know. Ask some
we go back to the
Mexicans.
1800s. We go back. Remember?
Ask Trump and the Mexicans. Let's
Let's go back.
all about taking children now.
And they don't know where to find them when they take them.
They're
So
with
don't ask
some
for them
nice white family.
They in the cages, honey.
back. They took them out the cage. They're at a swim lesson right now. Thank you very much. And
Enrique
lacrosse.
is great at soccer.
And they're at lacrosse. All right. So Georgia's legislation. Oh my God.
All right, what does Georgia legislation?
I feel pain when I want to read it. That
Can you pull it
every
up?
person who shall administer to any woman pregnant with a child any medicine, drug, or substance, whatever, or shall use or employ any instrument or other means with intent thereby to destroy such child, unless the same shall have been necessary to preserve the life of such mother. Ladies, if the Georgia law
This is
This is Georgia 1876.
Okay, this is back in 1876.
Yeah, this 1876.
This ain't. This ain't.
Okay, what
2024.
part of Alito's ruling did you not hear him say? We're going back to the first draft, and Thomas say if it's not in there from the first draft.
No, but I thought you had me under the impression that the heartbeat law was this law. You had me under the impression that you couldn't go buy no birth control at the CVS anymore.
Okay.
No, so what's happening here is Alito is establishing. He's trying to establish that. Oh, see, the 14th Amendment doesn't cover abortions because
So whatever laws you got
all
on the
the
books
laws
are what it is
at this time. No, he's trying to say, look at all the laws during this time period that ban abortion.
Yeah, no. I get that aspect.
Yeah.
I thought.
So he did it for all the states, is what he was doing. So I'm showing you
Okay.
1876.
Oh no, I thought what you were saying was that
This is the law now. No.
And that's why you can't go to. That's why I said you can't go to CVS no more. I can't get that Plan B no more. That's what I thought you was, girl.
I don't know what
I'm talking about all day since you've been here, and
Listeners,
you told me that. I thought
this is a struggle, a real struggle. The struggle is real.
I was just saying. I just
According
need
to the
clarification.
mindset, the rationale by
Okay.
your Justice Alito, this is where we should stay because it wasn't there. Read the law in 1876 and that nothing in the 14th Amendment grants you or made it legal. Sorry, people, go to your legislators. So here's what you're going to have. If we do go by what Alito says, you're going to have inconsistencies all over the place.
Yeah.
States are going to put in statutes that sometimes doesn't even make sense. Okay, most of the times don't make sense. But you're still going to have to go up to the Supreme Court because somebody's still going to have the right to appeal it. And the Supreme Court is still going to have to analyze it. And that's why my best law professor said, law is like a pendulum. It swings this way, and it might take another 50 years to swing back this way, and it might take another 50 years to swing back this way because it depends on who's on the bench. What I think we need is term limits on the Supreme Court. I think we need term limits. And the reason we need term limits is because the buffoonery.
It's gonna be worse. It's gonna be worse.
Why do you think it would be
it's-
worse?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's gonna be worse because then
Let me ask you a question. Hold on, before you get to worse. Why do you think it was okay to drink to that?
Because I'm trying not to get pregnant.
I thought the alcohol was going to make you even looser.
Get loose, get loose, get loose, get loose.
The alcohol don't make it worse.
I don't know.
Champagne?
Probably you get pregnant on. Yeah, I don't want no alcohol, baby, because then I want an abortion.
That's correct. So
So
please
let me
stop
put
drinking.
It down. No, I just think it'll be worse. It's everything.
Why would it be worse? Because we're changing.
Everything's already so political. I mean, all of our courts are already like,
Political.
yeah.
It's sad though. Isn't it a sad day that
But here's the
judges
thing.
are no longer judges?
So the
They're
Supreme Court-
politicians.
So the Supreme Court is all the way up here, but it's the everyday court. The everyday court that affects us every day, and it's so political. And like my life was based upon, oh, your case is important. It's in the news. I'm running for election. I'm gonna make sure that I knock you down. And if that's how my life is gonna be dealt with off of somebody's motivation to get a job, then
So here's
no,
what we need. We
I
need
don't want
legislation that says no prosecutor, no justice, no judge can profit financially off of any case that they have prosecuted or heard from. That way you could get rid of what happened to O.J. Simpson, where Marsha Clark became famous. They're writing books. They're becoming, speakers and doing public speaking and making money off of a case they prosecuted. That's motivation for you to want to prosecute somebody you think is innocent, because if you can make money off of it and you're selfish and you're greedy, you're going to do that. You're not going to say, oh, I'm not going to prosecute this guy. Because remember, when you're running for election, even as district attorney or solicitor, you always want the
say
citizens.
something crazy, but you just have to think it out before you say it, because you don't want to get locked
Yeah, please think it out before you
That's
say
what I
it.
just did. I just looked down like, I probably shouldn't say this. Like, I should have probably said there's alternatives to terms. I should say these things.
No, please don't say that. Yeah, but my point is, when you can make money off of something, you have to be careful, because now the motivation behind doing it can be financial, and you don't want a prosecution or a prosecutor to have the power, the unbridled power over somebody's life and liberty, and property.
Yeah.
Because that can take your car, I can take your house, I can take your stuff, even if I can't find a nexus. Nexus meaning connection between, your criminal conduct.
So I think two things really quick. So I think they're stuck. They've got they want to give you those three. What they don't want to do is expand the definition of those three. But to ask the Congress to expand the definition is kind of the buffoonery of the whole premise. Like the court is the one who's supposed to be able to, all right, hey,
interpret the law.
Interpret the
interpretation
of, hey, and nowadays that's not how our society runs.
Correct.
You can't really run like that. When this was written, the 19th Amendment wasn't even there. We didn't even consider women. Of course, these laws on the books are going to be this way because the women didn't have the right to vote yet.
Right.
To actually get their stuff across.
To get a senator in.
So
if I can't vote in a senator, how can I vote somebody in that's going to make abortions legal?
Oh yeah, this is illegal and it was illegal at the time and it didn't mean to.
But see,
you need to do all this math.
Guess what? We sat here in opened. I said they weren't considering women, and then you come up with a legal argument, and we did that in 2 minutes. And guess who didn't do that?
No,
the Solicitor General and the respondent didn't do that.
No, but understand the difference, right? Mm-hmm. The thing that they can only argue when you get a statement from the Supreme Court and they say we're going to hear it, we want to only hear about how this relates to the 14th Amendment.
They will limit you. I've had oral arguments before the Supreme Court of the state of Georgia. Mm-hmm. And when I received my permission to argue before the court, I was limited in the order that they granted. They said specifically speak about this. And they are clear.
I know.
They will tell you will be held in contempt if you come here prepared to argue something that I said you're not supposed to talk about. So you have to be careful as an attorney.
But there was an argument about Victorian law. You know what I'm saying? The respondent and solicitor, I don't know which one argued it, but one of them argued that, the reason why these rules were happening because they wanted to uphold the Victorian way of life. So if you can argue the Victorian way of life, then your argument should have been, well, keep this in mind. When this law was made, women didn't have the right to vote. They didn't have the right to this. They didn't have to. So let's not even talk about what happened with Victoria.
Right.
Let's talk about what was happening in America so that now you give them this alternative argument because guess what? You're the only one. We were the only people who I have heard all these other different arguments about viability that can be countered. But when you say women were not even considered women. So all laws were never to apply to women because they didn't even care about them.
They were not important.
They weren't important.
Yeah.
So
we weren't doing anything for them other than asking them to stay in the kitchen barefoot and pregnant.
Exactly. That's the argument. So when you argue that, the judge I'm pretty sure the judge wasn't even thinking about that because
the argument was never made.
The argument was never made.
I don't know
how do you go back?
I think
I'm just saying it's going to go up again. Trust me. It's going back up.
How do you go back and say, yeah,
you're right.
You're right.
Women didn't have rights.
Because if you're saying, hold on, I'm about to even take it there. If you're saying that it should have been argued in the legislature and the legislation of that time should have made those laws when women weren't even considered, they couldn't even vote, they couldn't even run for office. So then none of their hopes, none of their dreams.
That's why we know it's an intellectual dishonest.
I don't even think it's an intellectual dishonesty.
No, it is because the ideology doesn't allow for that. His ideology from its core doesn't allow for context.
Correct.
Well,
the only context that's allowed is the time period within.
Correct. And that's bad. No. That's intellectually dishonest.
I disagree because when blacks were slaves, the Supreme Court eventually came back and we had the
It was not the Supreme Court.
It was the legislature.
It was the legislation.
Okay, so when they had segregation. When they had segregation, they ruled in favor for segregation. In Ferguson,
separate
in
Brown versus
Board.
Even before Brown versus
Plessy
Board.
versus Ferguson.
Plessy. They ruled in favor of segregation, right?
Yes.
Because of the sign of the times and blah, 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 blah. But as time went on, when they did Board versus Brown, or Brown versus Board, then they changed the laws based off of that.
Well, they didn't change the law. They just said,
separate.
You know what? This 14th Amendment does apply here.
Right. So all I'm saying is that it has changed in the past based off of the laws of the time. It's
Of
stuff
course,
has
but
changed.
you have to understand that this is a new ideology. Remember when those things are coming through, this ideology of those Supreme Courts are not that specifically that the Constitution is a solid document. It's still, this is a relatively new concept to
I see what you're
argue.
saying.
It's a new concept of, oh no, we've got to stick to what the makers said,
Right.
and we have to use the context of those specific times.
But
So when the Constitution is young, think about it. The Constitution is 1870 something. I'm trying to recall, but the Constitution is
1872, I like that one. I don't know why, but 1872
You like
is in my
72?
head.
I can't
It's in
remember,
my
but
head. Just put 1872 Constitution. See if that's right. If it's right, my spirit tells me.
Oh wow, you have a spirit man now. That is
Exactly right.
fantastic.
1789.
I was close.
So this,
I had a 7. I have an 8.
Yeah.
I had a 9.
yeah.
What is this? The lottery?
So in 1789, right? When are they making Plessy versus Ferguson? 1890, 18 something like that. So we're talking about less than 100 years after the
I
Constitution.
thought
was
Plessy
made.
versus Ferguson was during Jim Crow.
No, I think it was just post Reconstruction. Yeah, 1896.
Okay.
So we're looking like 100 years. This Constitution is still fresh. Technology hasn't advanced super
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
We aren't talking about anything. We're just figuring out our lives, like as
As a people.
as a people.
Right.
So and how this Constitution works. So just fast forward 100 more years later,
And want to go back to
and
use
to go
it
back to use
as
it
context
is improper.
to apply to today's society
Yeah.
and today's issues is disingenuous.
Oh, so what you're saying?
It's disingenuous. He just came up with a way to say it so that people wouldn't say hypocrite.
So what you're saying is that this ideology of the Constitution being flawless is a new ideology.
Not flawless. What is written is what is covered.
Correct.
Okay.
No interpretation.
Do not use any context except the time that it was written.
And if you want to change it, then you got to do an amendment.
You
Right.
got to do an
Amendment
amendment
or
pass
legislation.
legislation of the law that falls within your power as a Congress.
But on the other hand, I mean, isn't that good though in some sense though? Because
Not when the 3/5 compromise is written into the actual document.
Right.
Not an amendment.
Not.
Written in the first thing, they was like, these slaves is 3/5.
Yeah.
Oh shit, you need guns, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. We're going to use context
Oh,
and
shit,
the times.
You need freedom of speech.
to
My
deter-
bad, yo, my bad. I was focused on this slavery thing, this freedom of speech thing. This is good.
It keeps coming up.
write that down in the side note. Let's start with this 3/5 of a man.
We'll add those 10 at the back. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
Now, when
But these slaves, we're
wait.
going to take care of this right
Hey,
here.
we gotta fix
I have
that.
a question. That's 3/5 of a man?
Or a woman.
Did it say man and woman or just a man?
Trust me, they come. Listen,
3/5.
y'all were considered together. Yeah, all right.
Chattel is
Each
chattel.
one.
Well, according to
Chattel
Alito,
Chattel is
we
chattel.
can only go by the words written. If it says men, black women again, we got another one.
Chattel is chattel, sweetheart. Okay? It doesn't matter what kind of table. A table is a table. So at that point in time, a person who was not free would be counted as 3/5 of a free individual
Okay.
for the purposes of determining congressional representation.
Okay, so does that mean that you
3/5
can
of an
vote
individual.
in prison and your vote's only worth 3/5?
No, they took that straight away.
Yeah.
That they took it
Yeah.
out?
No. This was never. This is about your representation. So whoever owns you
It's Article 1.
gets your votes.
Okay, so the penitentiary gets all those 3/5 of
The sheriff. I'm running for sheriff. Everybody in the warden. I'm running for warden. Whoever's the warden can do it. This is psychotic. But ladies, guess what? You still have options. You have many options. All is not lost. You can go to a state,
That has a safe haven.
That has a safe haven and will allow you.
You can close your legs.
You can go to Canada. You can go to Canada.
You can close your legs.
You can do what Dana wants you to do. Stop having sex with your senator husband and let his side chick give him. You
don't even want to have sex with him either because he old and he wrinkled and he smell bad.
Oh my God. You went there.
I just did.
Is that facts and evidence?
I don't know. I ain't smelt him. I looked at him though. He look old and he look wrinkled.
But you definitely have options. You don't have to use hangers.
Please don't.
The country of Canada is welcoming women from the United States to come over and enjoy their health care, which we thought was socialist.
Please don't use hangers.
Now we're going to do that.
If they don't care about you having abortions, do you? If they care, hangers, come on.
No. What you got to remember, young teenage girls.
Why are you stuck on the hangers?
Yeah, I don't understand. Did you ever see Mommy Dearest?
Every time
did you watch Mommy Dearest?
Hangers.
No wire hangers. Is that what it is?
Maybe because every time I see it, it's always this. The media always has this camera on women using hangers. Like,
I guess maybe that was the most drastic means back in the time when women.
I'm like, if you gonna use a hanger, you don't need to live. Like,
no, but think about it. You might be young. You could be 12 and 13.
Grown ass women.
No.
I'm saying.
No.
That was what was necessary when medicine in 18
was not available.
It's not available.
There's not the pill at Walgreens.
I understand that, but
you're
that's
not gonna drive in.
They didn't write I guess the sign was in shorthand because they didn't say all of that. All I seen was, "You ready for this hanger action?"
That's because they want you to know that women died using that. So
yes,
they want you to
symbolism.
Understand.
It's like the 13 stripes on the flag.
Yes, correct. So that you get it. So that it be drastic, because some people think it doesn't bother me, it doesn't relate to me. So any listener who out there is thinking, I'm not having a baby, abortion doesn't mean anything to me. I'm 79, I'm 89, or whatever the case may be. Or I'm not a woman, I'm not having any children, I've had a hysterectomy, all that good stuff. Keep in mind that there's substantive due process. Today they're chiseling at abortion. Tomorrow they'll be chiseling at the stop and frisk. The next day they'll be chiseling at knocking on your door. The next day they'll be chiseling at coming to your grandkids' house if your kids have kids, even if you don't have any kids. You are all affected. We are all affected, and we the people need to take action at the polls.
And that is why I'm okay. I've been teetering, and when I say teetering, like, no, I ain't down for abortions. That ain't my thing. But that's not my thing. Do what you do. You know what I'm saying? If God gave us the choice to make our own decisions, that's on you. You make your own decision. You know what I'm saying?
I'm with that.
I was teetering right there. But I really got on board when I realized that
they're coming for everything.
Once they start coming for me, let's see if we can stop this at Dobbs.
Right.
Can we stop it at this? Can we stop it before we get to where it gets to me?
Well, according to Clarence Thomas' ruling, let's not stop at Dobbs. You saw that part, right? That part. Where he said,
I know.
Let's go. And he listed all the cases that he think we should go back.
We need to stop. We need to stop somewhere because I don't want my
I just don't want government interfering, especially the small government that's getting really big. I don't want the Republican small government to come to my door.
All these cases that y'all don't be down for are going to be the cases they use against you when they give your ruling. According to Dobbs and according to this and this one and the other one that you was down for and the other one that you didn't bother you and the other one that
they'll use Dobbs when they take away your rights.
Take your rights, honey.
Yeah. So substantive due process is important. Procedural due process is different. There are two due processes, but I suggest I don't want government interference. I don't want government telling me what to do. I understand the importance of government to keep pandemonium from occurring. I understand the importance of having order, civil order.
That's not the importance of government. The importance of government is to keep this money flowing.
Yeah,
that's true. Let me life and liberty.
This.
And property,
which is keeping this money flowing.
Keep the money
I'm just gonna lay it out here. Abortions, right? They happen, but if you grown as hell,
that's an excellent sign.
Wow,
you should be out there for
abortions. They happen. I like that sign. You gonna hold it up?
They happen.
My sign wouldn't say that. My sign would say choice. It should happen. No, even God gives it to you.
We all got choices, but can can we start with making right choices? Like, I'm not saying oopsie daisy, but you can't be grown as hell.
So how are you going to determine that it's oopsie daisy?
I feel like you a serial killer after abortion number 4.
Who do you know that's had 4 abortions? Name one person that you have interacted.
April.
Who?
You want me to put her out in the streets?
Wow.
Who is April?
I just made her up. I'm not gonna give you
That's
her
my
last
point.
name.
That's my point.
I'm not gonna tell you.
You're making up people.
I'm just saying.
You're
if
making up
using-
people.
I need to put this out here.
To be honest with you, I don't know any person, and maybe it's because they didn't share, that has shared with me in any circle that I've attended, whether private circle, pool circle, girl circle, that has had more than one abortion.
All I'm saying is,
I'm telling you, it's psychologically. In fact, and even the people who had one came out and said things like, never again.
Right.
Never again. I'm telling you, I don't think the people who are against the choice, because I'm not going to say you against abortion, you against my choice, because I get to choose what I want to do. Just like I'm not against the choice of you wearing your mask when you putting your stinking breath and spitting
Make sure you
in
use the
my
words.
face, and your liberty to use the mask or to not get your vaccine, although it's beneficial to me if you have one, and it's beneficial to me if you wear your mask, and it's not beneficial to me, and it doesn't affect me whether you have your baby or not. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't affect me. It can't make me sick, and it can't kill me, and it can't put me in an ICU. But that's what I'm saying is the choice. You understand what I'm saying?
I get that.
The choice.
What I'm saying is,
I don't know anybody. And I think the people who are against the choice don't realize that even people who have one are psychologically affected from the one and have decided they're not going to have another.
I understand that.
There's nobody out there using abortions as birth control.
I have been in conversations where I've heard a girl, oh yeah, if I ever got pregnant, I'll just get an abortion.
I'm telling you, people just talking. They're just talking because they're just telling you, oh, if it happens, it happens, and I'll just do this.
Let me say this.
Have you ever heard people talk about how, oh, if they come in here, we're going to fight and we're going to bust the cap and da-da-da. And as soon as you hear pop, 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 that person, the first person running out the room. And you're going, wait, where's my fighter? I got your back.
No, I don't hang with people like that.
That's what I'm saying. People will say things all the time about what they're going to do if they find themselves in a particular situation. And when they're faced with that situation, they're absent. They don't do what they said they were going to do.
But what I'm saying is like, it's
Trust
not
me.
it's not
I know
a,
you've
it's
had
not a
arguments
flippant-
with your spouse
conversation.
about things that you all discuss, and he says, "Oh, if I ever find myself in that situation, I'm gonna da 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 da." Right? Let's say for argument's sake, because I know of a couple. Right? I know of a couple. They're gonna remain nameless. Where they used to always have casual conversations about what you would do if a woman tried to approach you, although you're married. And the man's response was, no woman can't come up and approach me and trick me. I'm a man. I know, that kind of stuff. I wouldn't be sharing no information with no woman, right? Mm-hmm. And the couple had a situation where a woman walks up to the husband and says, do I know you from somewhere? And the first thing the husband started doing was rattling off cities that he had lived in. Texas, New York, Miami, what? Listing places, right? Mm-hmm. And of course, that became a discussion that led to a fight. The woman's beef was, all these years we've been talking about what you gonna do in a situation if a woman, approached you about anything, and you flew all your I'm gonna do this and I ain't got nothing to say, and she gonna have to tell. Really? Mm-hmm. See how quick you fell for that banana in the tailpipe? Mm-hmm. So my point to you telling you that story.
Well, before you say that reminds me of that one situation in the Bible when Peter said, oh, Jesus, I got your back, got your back, got your back, got your back. And he was like, Jesus is like, Peter, by the time the cock crows 3 times, you gonna be diming me out in these streets. Yes. You gonna act like you don't know me.
Correct. So that's my point. I'm saying there are women that are saying it, sweetheart. There are women that's talking about how they're gonna use it as an abortion and the after pill and the this and the that. But let me tell you something. There is something in your mind when a doctor looks at you. Because remember, you do a little test at home. Okay, I might be right, I might not be wrong. This thing might not be good. But you go to the doctor and they do a blood test and they come back and they're like, guess what? You're pregnant. That statement to you And I'm talking to you from a woman who's heard that statement 3 times because I've had 3 children. It does something to you psychologically that you can't explain. You cannot explain. So it is torment. I cannot understand. I can't imagine the torment of a woman that finally makes the decision that she doesn't believe she can go through with it. I can't imagine the torment. And I'm telling you that mindset that women are just running out here and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. And first of all, it's harsh on your body. You understand? Second of all, you can have complications from them. Okay. Third of all, you can have menstrual cycles that become irregular from them. No doctor can guarantee you that your body will be the same after the procedure. They tell you the procedure is safe. Safe means you're not going to die in the procedure, but you could. You understand what I'm saying? Just like the surgery for your knee replacement and your hip replacement. They all have risks associated with them, but we think overall they're safe. What do they mean by that? Most people don't die, but you could. So abortions don't come without risks. They don't come, and they make you sign paperwork saying that. That's scary for you when you go to the doctor and they say, "Hey, ma'am, you're getting ready to have a hip replacement. Read this. May die." Oh, whoa, hold on, hold on a second. Oh, what do you mean by that? You start asking more questions.
My girdle getting tight.
Let me tell you something. We got to end this episode on a
I would
tight.
have loved to just get your predictions about how this politically affects, but I don't know. The girdle sounds like it's
It's hurting me on my side. I'm gonna suck it in. Go ahead. I just had to release that.
You know what?
I hear snap, snap, snap.
I'm going to have to end the episode. Ladies, go out and
I don't
vote.
want to be disrespectful though. Like, you was on a roll,
no,
but my
ma'am.
girl was
I'm going to
getting
roll out. So lift your glass and let's do it.
Oh my God. This is called Diva Court.
Oh,
Please,
I'm sorry.
please.
It's called
She the diva, I'm
Diva
just in
Court.
court. Yeah.
Please.
Just ask the questions.
We got to close the episode. Listeners, we're going to,
What we doing?
I don't know.
Oh, are we gonna do the stand up next week? You want to do it? What's up? Or you want to plan it in a little bit more in advance?
You've promised these listeners things you have not
I
produced
know,
before.
that's what I'm saying.
That's why we're not responsible for what you're going to say. All right,
Just
listeners.
exactly.
Just add it to the list.
Exactly.
No.
All right.
Let's just add it to the list.
We're going to add
We
it.
got the
We're gonna
dating,
add it.
She's
dating.
promised.
We
Baby mama
promised.
baby mama, baby daddy speed dating.
Code Diva has promised y'all baby mama, baby daddy speed date.
That's
And-
something that we are in the works on.
Okay.
And then
She has
doing
promised.
a stand up.
She has promised. No, you promised that we were going to bring a man in the kitchen. Man in the kitchen.
Man in the kitchen.
That we were
Oh,
going to have
we're
him
gonna have
prepare
a cooking.
something, a cooking.
Yeah.
And you've promised to go on location. All right. And film the show.
Okay.
So we're going to, listeners, we're going to plan to go on location.
Yeah.
And we are going to do stand up.
Yes.
It's going to be sit down though.
I'm gonna
this
stand up
diva-
because I
No,
can't
no.
listen. I
No.
told you this girl tight, honey. I can't be.
We're going to have this diva not wear a girdle or a Spanx.
I'm gonna have my belly just
But-
all out.
So we're going to find a location where we can do stand up for y'all. And we're going to film the show at a stand up comedy. Okay? And based on that, we're going to close this episode and we'll drink to that.
I didn't cut the show off too early, did I? I'm sorry.
Girl, we need to cut you off, period.
Those
My
extra
toes starting to
sips.
feel
Those
cold.
extra
Like, I'm
sips.
losing
Put that back.
Those
please.
extra sips.
Yeah, she had extra sips. Please look for our episodes each Wednesday. Don't forget to subscribe.
Don't forget.
Find us on Spotify,
Spotify,
Apple Podcasts,
Apple,
and Google Podcasts. And be sure to catch our videos on YouTube every Wednesday, each week. We push them out for you so you can see all the beauty that we
Yes.
attempt to produce for you. Listeners, don't forget to tell us. Go on there and tell us what your favorite color is. Because we are bringing the color with the pretty and the edutainment this season. This is season 2 of Diva Court.
Maybe we should do cheetah print next time.
Oh, Father God.
Yes.
This is Diva Court signing off on this episode. This episode was sponsored by our Cutie Nails. Go
Hey,
out to
cutie.
Cutie Nails and Spa in Midtown and let a team of cuties take care of you. And like we say here on Diva Court, we will drink to that. This girl.
We got to drink to that.